Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is David Clayson, and I'm in my new favorite recording place, which is my car, because there's plenty of lighting. There is good sound, and the main thing, it's easy to set up. I just bring the camera in here, maybe back out the car just to get a little bit better lighting. Hit record, and boom, ready to go. Where my other setups take a little bit longer, so that can prevent me from wanting to do videos a little bit. Anyways, here I am, and today I'm talking about my passions and things I don't necessarily enjoy in ministry. Like what kind of pastor I am, I guess, would be the way to put it. I was talking to one of my pastor friends last week, and we were talking about some theological stuff. And as we were talking, I was thinking, man, this guy's he's a theologian. That's one of his passions. That's what he is. He's a theologian. He enjoys doing that and stuff like that. And it got me thinking, well, what are my passions in ministry? What do I enjoy doing, and then what do I not necessarily enjoy doing? So it got me thinking about that, and I think immediately my passion, I knew, as soon as I asked myself that question, I knew was studying scripture, but the background of it, like looking at the history of it, looking at who wrote it, who it was written to, where those people were at, what they were dealing with at that time, why was the thing written, things like that. I enjoy studying that, and then I enjoy teaching that and bringing like the application out of it. Like, okay, this is what they were dealing with. Here's what you can take out of it yourself. I think that's a passion of mine, and I think that falls more on the teaching side than preaching side. And so I would say my passion when it comes to being a pastor is teaching. Am I a good teacher? I'm definitely not the best teacher. I wouldn't say I'm the worst teacher. But anyway, it's just a passion that I have. And that's why a lot of my sermons on Sunday mornings, at the beginning of them, a lot of them are just given the history, given the background of the writings that we're going over, just so the congregation can understand it. And I think that's important too when you're even just reading the Bible, just understanding who wrote it, who it was written to, and things like that, to get a better understanding of what is being written. So that's my passion for sure. Going to the other side of it though, because in ministry, depending on your church location, we've been here for 9 years now. It's a smaller church, but if you're weak in something at a bigger church, what you can do is just hire staff pastors. Because when you become a pastor, you have to wear a lot of caps. If you're in a smaller church, that's the administrative side, like paying the bills, making sure everybody that needs to be paid in the church is getting paid, keeping the lights on, making sure ministries don't conflict with each other and things like that. You got the pastoral care side, like funerals, weddings, visiting people in their homes or in the hospital, things like that. You got the preaching, teaching side. Obviously, I think that's the most common. When people think of a pastor, that's what they think about, a preacher. So there's a lot of different categories. You might even have maintenance, where you have to just keep the church working. So there's a lot of different sides to it. And so a weakness for me, and I know it's a weakness, it doesn't mean I don't do it, but I maybe have to force myself to do it compared to like teaching or preaching, since I have more of a passion for that. But it would be pastoral care. Again, been here working on our 9th year, and I've done one wedding. I got another wedding this spring. Because in our community, I'm one of 2 full-time ministers, I get asked to do a lot of funerals, even if people who aren't our congregation members. So I've done 15 to 18 funerals being here, and I do not enjoy doing funerals. It is, every time I get asked to do it, it's tough. I accept it. If you want a time where people are really listening to the word, even if they don't serve the Lord, it's at a funeral, because they're really listening to what's being said. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough because you have to, if you don't know who the person is, you have to go and like research the person. You have to go to different family members, and then sometimes you get conflicting stories, or this person was this way, or this person was another way, and then you're like, okay, what do I do here? And then you got to figure out if they were a believer or unbeliever. It makes it a lot easier if they were a believer versus an unbeliever. Anyways, so for me, doing funerals, maybe I'll talk about this in another video, but it's not something I enjoy doing. Visiting people in the hospital, I do that. And again, not something I necessarily enjoy. Even visiting people in their homes, it's not something I necessarily enjoy either. It's like, man, how are you a pastor? I try to. There's workarounds around it. Like we do a potluck at the end of each month where you can visit with people then outside of service, and I'm still visiting people in their homes, in the hospital, doing funerals and weddings and stuff like that too. Not that I don't do them. It's just that it's not necessarily something I necessarily enjoy. So I think it's important though to know what you have a passion for and what you are not necessarily good at or don't have a passion for, because that can get you understanding what you need to do. Again, for me, if I were in a bigger church, I could be like, okay, I'm not good at the pastoral care side, so I'll hire someone, a pastor who that's their passion, the pastoral care side of things. And there are some ministries out there where there are people who can do just that. I think about like a hospital chaplain. That's totally pastoral care right there. And if they enjoy doing that, but not necessarily preaching or teaching, then that'd be a perfect fit for them. Or people who like doing the preaching and teaching stuff. This is a crazy concept for me to even think about, but there are churches out there who have a sermon writing team of pastors, where they have this group of pastors that come together to write the sermon for Sunday or midweek services and things like that, and then another pastor preaches it. And to me, that's a crazy concept of thinking about that. Like, you're preaching a sermon that you didn't write yourself. And I don't know. For me, I wouldn't be able to do it myself. I wouldn't be able to do that. But there are people who that's a position out there. And so if you enjoy doing that type of stuff, but not necessarily preaching the message, that might be something for you too. But yeah, it's good. Even if you don't plan on entering like full-time ministry, because everybody is in part-time ministry at least a little bit. Even if your ministry isn't in the church, you're still doing ministry. Everybody's called to do ministry in some form or another. But even just in your regular Christian walk, it's not bad to evaluate yourself, what you have a passion for, and what you don't have a passion for, so that you can surround yourself with those people who can strengthen you and strengthen whatever ministry you have, whether it's simply ministering to your coworkers or to your friends, or if it's helping out a ministry at church or leading a church or whatever it is. It's good to know your strengths and weaknesses, what you have a passion for and what you don't. And when you know what your passions are, then when you hear about a chance to work in that passion, you can step up for it. Like, yeah, I would enjoy that. I would like to do that, and makes things a little bit clearer for you as well. But yeah, so that's the kind of pastor I am. I enjoy the teaching, studying the background, and then bringing the application to today. Like, okay, here's what they dealt with. Here's why this writer wrote this. Here's what you can take out of it today and stuff like that. I enjoy doing that. And then the weakness, pastoral care side things. And I know that, and doing stuff to make up for that. And also, sometimes you just got to put, what does it say? Put your nose to the grinder, put the knife. That doesn't sound good. Nose to the grinder. I don't know the saying behind that. Maybe that's because if you're sharpening a tool or sanding something down, you have to be really close to it, so your nose is close to the grinder and you're working really hard. Hopefully that must be it. That must be what the saying is. Anyways, you got to put your nose to the grinder and just do it and get it done. So, especially in the weak areas. But yeah, just wanted to talk about that. What are your strengths? I'm not saying strengths and weaknesses. What are your passions and things you may not enjoy so much when it comes to your walk with the Lord? More on the ministry side of things than anything else. But what is your strength and passions? And it might be, I'm rambling here, but it might be, I really enjoy reading the Bible, but I have a hard time praying. Or I really enjoy worshiping God, but I have a hard time reading the Bible, or something like that too. It might even be that. And just realizing that can help you in your walk with God. But yeah, okay, with all that said, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Have a blessed day. See you later.